So a couple of weeks ago I ran a poll amongst my friends and I asked them, do you know what Flatpack Democracy is, right? And 8 out of the 10 friends that I asked didn't know what Flatpack Democracy is. And it's this whole movement that is going on all around the country, and obviously we've got the council elections coming up, so half the country is up for council elections this year, right? And if people don't know what it is, then how can they be expected to vote for it? So I thought, well, I'll tell you a little bit about how it works. So say, for example, you stand for your council and you get elected, right? And you've got this idea about pedestrianising the high street. It's been, talked about and stuff. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to find out how people find out about the news locally. So how you want to do it, whether you do a poll or whatever, okay? So it could be that, 50% of people are on Facebook. It could be that people look at their community notice boards. It could be that they read the local news, okay? So you're finding out how to communicate with people and let them know that something's happening, that you want to run a People's Assembly. So you find that information out and then you decide that you're going to do it. Now, say for example, you do this pedestrianising of a high street, okay? And so you're going to find out, you're going to find a way of doing it. So if it was in a church hall, for example, or a town hall, you'd have to make sure that it was wheelchair accessible, because if it wasn't, then you wouldn't hear any voices from wheelchair users, okay? So, or, you might need to have a hearing loop if you've got people that come along that are deaf, okay? So you've got to have these things in place that make it accessible. Obviously with COVID that might be a little bit more difficult, so you might decide that you want to make it an online thing. You might want to use Zoom or something like that. So if you did that, you'd have to make sure that everybody had access to the internet, because not everybody does. It could be that you invite people, their ideas or their thoughts about it, and have them read out at the People's Assembly, yeah, and shared, so that they have a voice. They have, they can bring forward their ideas or their opinions. So you've organised a People's Assembly. You've done it in a church hall, for example. In that hall, you would have a series of tables, okay, and around each table you'd have between 6 and 8 people sat down at each of these tables. So if this was online, you'd have like a group room or something like that. You'd have somebody speaking at the beginning, so this could be about the practicalities of it. You might want to do it, but you've got the roads aren't wide enough to accommodate any more than 2 cars, or that we don't have cycle lanes or something like that. Yeah, you'd have all the practicalities talked about first of all, and then what would happen is that everybody would sit around their tables and they would talk. Now everybody gets about 2 minutes each to talk. And that's uninterrupted. It's really important that it's uninterrupted, because we've all got a different opinion on things and we all need to be heard, and you're creating that really safe space, okay? So you've got one person at each table that's writing everything down, and then when everyone's had their say, that person who's writing everything down brings everything up to the front. And they might say, okay, we've had 2 people at the table who are against it because of this, this and this. We've had 3 people that are for it because of this, this and this. We've had one new idea that's come forward, and they've said that they've done this down in Torquay, and that it's worked, and they've done this. So the idea is that you're bringing it out to your community, and then you're narrowing it all down. So you're collecting all of that information. Now it could be that it's split and that some new ideas have come out, and you want to go and find out more about that. So again, you're going to open it out and find it out, and then you're going to bring it back again. So the idea is that these ripples, they start off big, but they're getting smaller and smaller, and at the end of it, you come to a decision about it that has evolved your entire community, and everyone's had an equal chance to participate. Everyone's had the chance to say, everyone's had the chance to participate, and it works, okay? So yeah, it takes the spotlight off of anybody making that decision, and it's community involvement. Actually, it's really nice when you go along to one of these things, because you make friends. You get to listen to different points of view, and you find out more. So they're really good, and that is what People's Assembly, that is what Flatpack Democracy is all about.